to This Week in Big Sky Basketball as we take you around the conference for all the latest in Big Sky hoops. Now, here's your host, Scott Gerard.
And welcome on in. It's another edition of This Week in Big Sky Basketball, and we've got a busy show for you on tap. Ken Pomeroy is going to join us coming up here in segment number 1. Brandon Gfeller in segment number 2, and Beth Ann Ord in segment number 3. In the first weekend of conference play in the books for men's and women's basketball teams, we've got a lot of great things to break down. First off, though, let's take a look at some scores starting on December 29th. The Multnomah went to Weber State. Weber State got the win there. Final score 114-47. Sacramento State over Pacific Union 78-49. Portland State over Cal State Fullerton 89-82. Idaho State over Cal State Northridge 84-79. Then on December 31st, when we kicked off some Big Sky games, it was Northern Colorado getting the win over Eastern Washington 96-90. In double overtime, Montana over Northern Arizona 90-84. Southern Utah gets the win over Montana State 93-82, and Idaho over North Dakota 74-71. Then finally on January 2nd, Idaho over Northern Colorado 75-70. Montana State over Northern Arizona double overtime 74-72. North Dakota beats Eastern Washington 79-71. Weber State knocks off Idaho State 77-56. Montana over Southern Utah 83-66, and Portland State gets a win over Sac State 76-68. Now the scores are out of the way. Let's welcome in one of the good guys when it comes to college basketball, expert and the man behind the ratings at KenPom.com. It's Ken Pomeroy. Ken, how are you, man?
Doing great, Scotty. Thanks for having me on.
Hey, thanks for coming in studio, by the way. First off, let's talk about the website, KenPom.com, the rating system. You've been doing it for years. How did this originate?
It really was just a hobby.
Yeah.
I love college hoops and I love numbers, and those things came together in a big way. College hoops is such a difficult sport to track. There's so many teams across the country. Even if you're a college basketball insider and you have every coach's phone number on your cell phone, you can't keep track of what's going on around the country. So it was really just kind of a tool that I developed to allow people to make that easier for them.
Did you ever anticipate this thing would become as big as it has?
I didn't really think more than a few months ahead of time. I was just working on this project, kind of to help me understand things. Yeah. And just dove into the world of analytics in basketball, and it just kind of built off that. And I didn't think I'd ever be doing this for a living.
So let's talk about the Big Sky teams. Weber State, your highest rated Big Sky team in your ratings. What have you seen from the Wildcats so far this year?
They've been really steady. The one thing that I think I like about them, first of all, they're good offensively. Their defense is a little bit weak, but they're really good offensively, and particularly on their offense, they're a great two-point shooting team. They actually rank 31st in the country in terms of their two-point percentage, and that's a really good thing going forward. Three-point percentage, a little bit more streaky. Two-point percentage is a lot more reliable, and Joel Bollenboy and Jeremy Senglin in particular have really taken big steps forward this season. So that's a team that I think offensively is built to last and is going to be pretty formidable throughout the season.
They're a team too that's kind of embraced your formula too. They defend against the three very well. They take a lot of threes. It seems like from an analytics standpoint, they've kind of gotten behind this trend of college basketball as of late.
Yeah, no question. Randy Ray and his staff there are really open to this new information that's available, and they're taking advantage of it, along with obviously the skilled players they have.
Overall, though, when you look at the Big Sky ranked against other conferences, what's jumped out at you? As you compare them against maybe other conferences that they're comparable to.
Yeah, the one thing about the Big Sky this year is that they're really young. So, I think a little bit of a down year, but, looking kind of to the future, there's going to be some better times ahead. The other thing about the Big Sky that's really distinctive, and this has been true really, I think, for the history of the conference, they really corner the market on shooters. It seems like every team has a really nice shooter. Last year, the conference led the country in three-point percentage, and, this year it's early, but they're kind of on that trajectory again. Take a lot of threes, make a lot of threes. It's really a perimeter-oriented league, and they don't necessarily pound the post a whole lot, but some great shooters.
So yours seems to be a season where perennial powers like Kentucky, Michigan State, North Colorado, North Carolina are still at the top of the game nationally. What are some other teams that obviously are going to be at the top of that conversation, because we sure saw a good one last night with Kansas and Oklahoma.
Yeah, I mean, Oklahoma's one of those teams, kind of a new face on the scene that has surprised some people, really proved against Kansas that they're a legit team, a legit Final Four threat. Another team that's pretty interesting that I really like watching is Villanova. They're a little bit of an underdog, play out of the Big East, which doesn't get a lot of respect. They don't have a lot of size. They depend on the three-point shot a lot. But their offense is just really a thing of beauty to watch. You know, they take so many threes, but they're a team that has a really high two-point percentage, actually the highest that I've measured over the last 15 years. So a really fun offense and a team that doesn't have a ton of talent, but they run things so well that I think they're going to be a big threat.
Yeah, they don't shoot the three. I'm just looking at your ratings right now. They don't shoot the three particularly well, but you're right, 63% from two. That's incredible.
Yeah, and they actually, I think the three-point percentage is going to improve going forward because they have a really experienced team and guys that can shoot it, and I think that's going to rebound pretty nicely for them.
Interesting. When you look at the Big Sky Conference, what do they need to do, or what can they do, if possible, to become on the same level of maybe Missouri Valley or West Coast Conference and be kind of in that same kind of breadth?
Yeah, that's a big jump. I mean, obviously both those conferences have flagship programs that are in the top 25 and are capable of making deep runs in the tournament. I think, for the Big Sky, I think it really comes down to stability. The programs need coaching staffs that are in place for multiple years at a time. You look at the great players that have come out of the conference in recent years, Damian Lillard, Will Cherry, Tyler Harvey, Joel Bollenboy this year. And those are all guys that are four-year players. If coaches can go out, they have the security to go out and recruit high school kids and not have to go out and recruit JUCOs. The high school kids are the ones that really have the higher ceiling that can be great players, and I think that's kind of where it starts.
How do you think this thing shakes out this year? Is it Weber State's conference to lose?
It is. I mean, I think they're the favorite right now. It's certainly not a done deal, though. And Montana in particular, I think most people expected them to be good at the beginning of the year, and they're living up to it so far. They'll be a challenger. Idaho's a little bit of a sleeper. I mean, they swept the opening road trip, so the schedule really opens up for them, and they've played surprisingly well so far, so they could be a factor as well.
Yeah, Idaho getting wins against North Dakota and Northern Colorado. Interesting moves by them for Don Verlin's crew. So interesting conference matchup. It's going to be a lot of fun seeing how this thing plays out. Hey, we appreciate you stopping by. Thanks so much.
All right, thanks, Scotty.
That's Ken Pomeroy here on This Week in Big Sky Basketball. Coming up next, we'll continue on the show and also announce your Big Sky Players of the Week straight ahead. You're listening to another edition of This Week in Big Sky Basketball. A new era has come to Big Sky Conference basketball. 24 teams will invade the Reno Event Center on March 7th. Make plans to join us in Reno, where you'll be the witness to all the basketball madness you can handle. Tickets are on sale now. Visit www.roadtoreno.com to get all the details on how you can join your team on the road to Reno. Welcome back to another edition of This Week in Big Sky Basketball. I'm Scott Gerard. Montana started Big Sky Conference play with 2 wins last week, and leading the way was our next guest, junior guard Brandon Gfeller, joining us here on This Week in Big Sky Basketball. Brandon, how you doing, man?
Great. How you doing, Scott?
I'm doing well. Congratulations. You're the Big Sky Player of the Week. Always nice to bring home some hardware. I know you're all about the wins. You're a team guy. You're all about winning as a team, but it's nice to get some individual honors here and there.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate it. My teammates did a great job finding me. The guards did a good job penetrating and dishing. And our big guy, Martin, did a great job not only handling the traps, but making good passes out. And I couldn't do it without great teammates and coaches.
Crazy game against Northern Arizona. You go to double overtime before winning that game 90-84. Take us through that game and how crazy that was seeing that thing go double OT.
It was a crazy game. Northern Arizona, they played a great game against us, but we kept fighting through adversity. We had some breakdowns on defense and didn't get stops when we should have, but we kept our heads on straight and kept fighting until finally we came out of there with a W.
You did have 24 points with 8 3-point shots made. What was working for you in that long-range game, and is that something that you've worked on coming into this season?
Oh, yeah, something I've always worked on. I guess I'm a shooter, and that's what I do, and my teammates just did a great job making 2 guys collapse on them and finding me or, setting screens for me. And then I was able to knock them down, and I'm glad to see they finally went through.
There's just some games that may be a little bit better than others. Was that one game where you're shooting and that hoop looks like it's 5 feet wide?
Yeah, it was. Sometimes when I see a couple go through, I know the next couple are going through.
Love it. This year, the Big Sky Championships will be in Reno, Nevada, and the top 4 teams will get a bye in the tournament. So what does Montana need to do to make sure you're one of those teams?
Well, I think that's a big advantage having that first-round bye. I think every day we're working hard in practice and preparing for our opponents. And I think we understand the value of that first-round bye. and, just every game coming ready to play no matter who we're going against.
When you pick up your first 2 wins in conference and both those games are on the road, that gives you a little bit of I got to imagine that's a big momentum and a confidence boost, knowing that you can go on the road in this conference and win games. What does that mean for this team, for you personally, to be able to get those first 2 road games out of the way?
It was huge. In this non-league, we hadn't even got a road win yet, and finally we went out there and we got 2 big road wins for league. So that was definitely huge. And, confidence is big now. I think our whole team's coming together well. I think there's still some guys on the team that have room to play even better, and they're not even at their potential. Mario's coming back off an injury, and I think that we'll continue to build and get better, and I'm looking forward to the rest of the season with this team.
I'm looking at your schedule here, your non-conference schedule. You had Boise State and San Jose State out of the Mountain West Conference. You beat Boise State, lose to San Jose State. Then you play Gonzaga, you play Washington, you played Kansas. You're playing the who's who of college basketball. How does that pay dividends for your team in playing that kind of a schedule going into your conference schedule?
Yeah, no kidding. I think we're starting to see that work out right now. But definitely those teams were tough, big, physical, and just athletic. And I think that's helped us prepare for league. And now we're, ready for athleticism or bigger posts, and we can handle ourselves now. And playing those big stages, those big crowds, was a little eye-opening, and I think it was great for our team.
You gave one scare into Gonzaga. You lose that game by 3, 61-58. What kind of memories do you have of that game?
It was a lot of fun. I remember that before the game, the crowd was awful loud, and I think we were all really jazzed and ready to get going. And we came out and we just fought the whole time. We got stops. We executed the game plan that coaches put forward for us, and we had a chance to win that game, and we didn't quite pull through. But it was a great memory.
Well, you're 2-0 in conference play. You have 2 home games coming up this weekend with Sacramento State and Idaho coming to Missoula. So put your coaching hat on. What do the Grizz need to do to get a couple wins this weekend?
They'll be great teams. I think it's Sacramento and Portland State, actually.
Oh,
but
okay.
Yes, they're
You're
both
right.
good
Yep.
teams.
My bad.
They're both playing pretty well. I know Sacramento State's had a great preseason, and they won a lot of games. We haven't actually got a scout yet, but today we will, and I'm looking forward to figuring out what we're going to be doing to become successful here at home.
Well, Brandon, great conversation, man. Congratulations on the early success this season. Keep it rolling. We look forward to catching up with you again soon.
Thanks again, Scott. I really appreciate it.
You got it. Brandon Gfeller, kind enough to join us here on This Week in Big Sky Basketball. And as Brandon pointed out, let's take a look at some schedules of your games coming up this weekend. On the men's side, North Dakota will square off against Weber State. Portland State will be at Montana. Northern Colorado takes on Idaho State. Sacramento State will be at Montana State. Northern Colorado takes on Idaho State. Then on Saturday, January 9th, Portland State squares off against Montana State. Idaho will be at Eastern Washington. Northern Colorado takes on Weber State. Northern Arizona will be at Southern Utah. North Dakota at Idaho State. Sacramento State also will be at Montana, and North Dakota is at Idaho State, as we mentioned just a moment ago. Remember, you can watch all those games, all those Big Sky Conference games for free online at watchbigsky.com. Coming up next, we'll chat with Weber State women's basketball coach Beth Ann Ord as you're listening to another edition of This Week in Big Sky Basketball. A new era has come to Big Sky Conference basketball. 24 teams will invade the Reno Event Center on March 7th. Make plans to join us in Reno, where you'll be the witness to all the basketball madness you can handle. Tickets are on sale now. Visit www.roadtoreno.com to get all the details on how you can join your team on the road to Reno.
Listening to This Week in Big Sky Basketball.
You're listening to This Week in Big Sky Basketball, segment number 3 of the show. Here in a moment, we'll chat with Weber State women's coach Beth Ann Ord. But before we do that, let's take a look at last week's Big Sky women's basketball scores. Idaho State on December 29th got the win over Utah Valley. Final score there, 56-47. It was Weber State getting the win over Westminster, 79-46. Also, Cal Poly over Sacramento State, 97-72. Then on December 31st, Montana State over Southern Utah, 86-59. Idaho gets the win over North Dakota, 92-65. Montana over Northern Arizona, 81-58. And Eastern Washington over Northern Colorado, 59-55. Then on Saturday, January 2nd, it was Sacramento State big over Portland State. Final score there, 132-91. Also, Eastern Washington over North Dakota, 60-57. Montana State over Northern Arizona, 86-77. Idaho gets the win over Northern Colorado, 66-56. Weber State gets the win over Idaho State, 61-46. And it was Montana getting the win at home over Southern Utah. Final score in that one, 66-60. Now let's welcome in the head coach of the 9-3 Weber State women's basketball team, Beth Ann Ord. Coach, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm sure things are going well for you. Great start, 9-3 to get things rolling, especially in conference play. What are some of the factors that have contributed to a strong start for your team?
Well, I'll tell you, this group of young ladies have been just terrific. The cohesiveness and having such great leadership in two of my seniors, my two captains, Gina Quay and Brittany Dunbar.
How great is it to open up with a road win over a team like Idaho State, 61-56, but to get that first win on the road to kick off the season, I think it's got to mean a lot for your team.
Oh, it does. And Idaho State, of course, being the partner travel, team that we battle every year, and it's a a little bit of a rival. Well, I'd say it is a rival. You go in somewhere there, and I tell you what, their fans are. They are pretty rough, but our girls, I'm really proud of them because anytime you go on the road and get one like that, it's really great.
You mentioned Regina.
They worked hard.
Yeah, no doubt about that. You mentioned Regina, one of the absolute stars in this league. She's been a huge part of the rebirth of the Weber State women's basketball team. What's been her attitude like in this whole process of turning this program around?
Well, since she walked on this campus, every day she gets better. Every day she wants to get better. Besides being an unbelievable student, which I'm really proud of her. I had both my seniors. She had a 4.0, and she's an engineering student. In every part of her life, she wants to be the best, and she does it on and off the court. And I'm really proud of her. Sorry, voice.
I'm with you.
That happens, I guess.
When you got the schedule and you saw how this season was going to play out and realized that your first 3 conference games were going to be on the road because this weekend you're going to North Dakota, you're going to Northern Colorado, did you want to go and talk to Jerry Bovee, the AD up there, and say, hey, we need to rework this thing a little bit?
No, you always want to, because there's some advantages. I mean, of course, you got to look one game at a time. If you look at the whole, you can't move forward until you get through the first game that you play, and whether it's on the road at Washington or on the road at Idaho State, you just got to focus on that next game, and that's kind of been our mentality. We haven't. That part hasn't bothered us. You just gotta. It is what it is, and everyone else has had tough schedules, and hopefully early on our preseason schedule has prepared us to do well moving forward. But our next, we got a big road trip here coming up against a really good North Dakota team.
In terms of travel and just what it means and the toll that it can take on your players, is this one of, if not the toughest road trip?
I say yes, correct. That would be it is a tough one, but again, preseason. I don't know how many teams played literally 8 o'clock game, 7:30 game one night, and the next morning get up and play at noon.
Yeah.
So again, our preseason I think really has prepared us, and hopefully that part of it won't be as crazy for us. Just focus on what we got at task at hand.
I've heard some coaches say, though, especially early in the conference season, it can be good for players to spend a lot of time with each other on a bus and get to know each other, and kind of helps out a little bit with chemistry along the way.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. My girls like to. They have a really good relationship on and off the court, which has been a big factor in why this team has been doing so well. And it is fun. This is probably the most fun I've had as a head coach. Just of course winning, but being around this team and this group of young ladies, they just they're just a fun group that work hard, that get it on and off the court.
That's great. Coach, before we let you go, look ahead a little bit. Analyze your team, as I'm sure you've done over and over and over. What does this team need to do to make sure that they keep this ball rolling into conference play?
Just one game at a time. That's it. Just focus and get better every day, and bring the work ethic and intensity, and keep the chemistry rolling, and just having fun.
Great stuff. Thanks, Coach. We appreciate your time. Best of luck this season.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You've got it. Beth Ann Ord, the head coach of the Weber State women's basketball team. They're 1-0 in conference play. They've got 2 more road games coming up this weekend, as right now Idaho jumped out to an early lead in conference play, tied with Montana State, Montana, and Eastern Washington. All 4 of those teams have 2-0 records in conference play, but with Idaho with an overall mark of 10-4. Let's go ahead and look at some games coming up this weekend on the women's side in conference play. Starting with January 7th, Weber State will be at North Dakota. Idaho State takes on Northern Colorado. Montana will be at Portland State, and Montana State takes on Sacramento State. Then on January 9th, Eastern Washington will be at Idaho. Southern Utah takes on Northern Arizona. Montana State will be at Portland State. It's Idaho State hitting the road to take on North Dakota. Montana will be at Sacramento State, and Weber State will be at Northern Colorado. Once again, just a reminder, you can watch all Big Sky Conference games, men's and women's, for free online at watchbigsky.com. Also, make sure to pick up your tickets to the Big Sky Basketball Championships coming up in Reno, Nevada, March 7th through the 12th. All you have to do is go to roadtoreno.com. That's roadtoreno.com and get your tickets for what should be a tremendous event down in Reno, Nevada. That's it for this week. Big thanks to Ken Pomeroy, also Brandon Gfeller, and Beth Ann Ord for joining us on another edition of This Week in Big Sky Basketball. We'll see you back here next week.